Get that in Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. Read that. Listen to this, Mr. Jerry.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses...
All these what?
Curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, Mr. Jerry, the Lord said that if we don't hearken to his voice and keep his commandments, he said curses gonna come upon us, right? So what kind of curses you think could you imagine that the Lord put on his people for not keeping his laws? Matter of fact, Mr. Jerry, do you know any laws of the Lord? All right, they start like this: thou shalt not. You know anything? All right, one of the laws of the Lord is thou shalt not kill, right? Thou shalt not steal. You familiar with those laws?
I heard of them.
You heard of them, right? Now, the Lord said if we don't keep these commandments, he said he gonna curse our people. Now, Mr. Jerry, I'm finna ask you a question. Do our people kill today?
Yeah.
Do our people steal today?
Yeah.
So if we're killing and stealing today, and the Lord told us to keep his commandments, are we keeping his commandments?
No.
We're not keeping his commandments. And he just said in his word, if we don't keep his commandments, he's gonna put curses on our people, right? Let me show you one of the curses that he said gonna happen to our people. Get Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. Listen to this. This is one of the curses that the Lord put on our people. Because we still not keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments today. Even to this day. Even that this happened to us in slavery, way back then in Egypt. We was enslaved in Egypt. We still going through slavery now because we continue to not keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Listen to one of these curses that the Lord said he's going to put on us.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself.
He says, thou, even yourself, Mr. Jerry, you and me, read,
shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
The Lord said he gonna discontinue us from our heritage that he gave us. That's why when I ask you what's your nationality, you say you don't know. None of the people know. That's why we call ourselves black. That's why we call ourselves African American. That's why we call ourselves Negro. That's why they call us niggas. Because we don't know our nationality. We don't know who we are, and we don't know where we come from. The Lord said if we don't keep his commandments, one of the curses is that he's going to discontinue us from the heritage that he gave us. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
He said he's going to cause us to serve our enemies. Right? Now, you said that you was born in America, right? Now, when you were born, did you have to get a birth certificate? What's the reason you got to get a birth certificate? So they can keep track on you. Do you pay taxes? You pay, right. Do you pay your water bill? Even though water come free from the sky. So why we paying water? It's because the Lord said that even us, we were going to have to serve our enemies. He said we're going to have to serve our enemies and want for all things because we won't keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Even discontinuing us from our heritage. So, we not Negroes. We not African American. We not black, Mr. Jerry. Your heritage, your nationality is that you are an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Now I want you to look on this chart. All right? These are the names that God gave us in the Bible. And these are the names that were placed upon us in slavery. Because if you look in the Bible, you're not going to see African American. You're not going to see black. You're not going to see Negro. So how would you be able to identify yourself in the Bible? Where you see yourself at on this chart?
Versus
Judah. American black, right? Now, Mr. Jerry, so that means that your nationality, your heritage, is that you are Israelite from the tribe of Judah. You are Israelite from the tribe of Judah. That's some very important information. You got any kids? You got sons? One son. How old is your son?
18.
18. So your son, eventually, he's becoming to an age where he's becoming a man. He's coming into manhood. He gonna come to you, Mr. Jerry, and he gonna ask. He gonna say, hey, where we come from? Who are we? What we doing out here? What's our purpose? What we supposed to be doing? And it's gonna be vital information that you know to be able to tell him that we Israelites from the tribe of Judah. That's good information. That's good news. You understand that, Mr. Jerry? Now let me ask you a question. What's your nationality? No, Mr. Jerry. No, Mr. Jerry. Listen, we've been talking for about 10 minutes. Your nationality is that you are Israelite from the tribe of Judah. You get that? What's your nationality?
Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
Come on, Mr. Jerry. That's important information, right? Because you say you don't go to church, but you do believe in the Bible, right? Now I want to show you something. I want you to point to this over here. Tell me, point to which one of them is Jesus Christ. Which one?
The last one. The first one right there.
This one right here? All praise to the Most High. How you know that? How you know Jesus Christ is a black man?
The Bible describes him as a black man.
That's right. The Bible do describe him as a black man. They say that he is a black man. I'm going to show you something else. Get Hebrews 7 and 14. I'm going to show you something because Jesus had a nationality too, right? He was a real man, right? He lived on the earth, right? Let me show you something about Jesus' nationality, right? Read that.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14. For it is evident.
It says, for it is evident. Mr. Jerry, if you go to court and they have evidence, what does that mean?
Yeah.
They mean they got proof, right? They got some proof. It says that it's evident. Read it again.
For it is evident.
It says it's evident. They have proof. Read.
That our Lord sprang out of Judah.
Out of where?
Judah.
It says that it's evident. We have proof that the Lord and Savior sprang out of Judah. You hear that? That's good news. You from the tribe of Judah. I'm from the tribe of Judah. Christ is from the tribe of Judah. So the blood that's flowing in me, in my veins, is flowing in your veins, is the same blood that flew in Jesus Christ's veins. You understand that? We are the Israelites. We are God's chosen people, Mr. Jerry, and we must come back to following God's laws, statutes, and commandments to get out of the conditions that we in. Do you feel like black people, so-called black people, live in good conditions or bad conditions? You live around here?
Right down the street.
You from here?
Not from Little Rock.
Where you from?
Little Rock.
Little Rock, right? So you grew up not too far from around here. The conditions that we living in from since you was a child up until now, has the conditions for black people in Little Rock and North Little Rock, has it changed since you was a kid? Has it got any better? So what kind of conditions we living in?
Poverty.
Poverty, crime, prostitution. These are the things that we're dealing with. Our people are dealing with these things. Mr. Jerry, why you think that we're dealing with these things?
Like you said, we did not follow His commandments.
We ain't follow God's commandments. And that's a curse He put on us. Read verse 16. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
The Lord said that we're going to be cursed in the city. You say you from Little Rock, but now you live in North Little Rock. And the conditions is the same in both cities. And Mr. Jerry, it don't matter what city you go to. If you go to Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Hot Springs, Miami, Dallas, any of those places, if you see our people, we're going to be living in the same conditions. Mr. Jerry, we living in those conditions because we continue to break God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, I asked you something earlier. I said, how did we get over here? You said on slave ships, right? We got over here on slave ships. Do you think that, who put us on slave ships?
Yeah.
He said, we did. Absolutely, by not keeping God's laws, statutes, commandments. Read that, verse 68. Listen to this, Mr. Jerry. Gonna blow your mind.
Bring it out. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he said he's going to bring us back into Egypt. Now, we talked about this, right? What were we doing in Egypt the first time? We were slaves. He said he going to bring us into Egypt again. That means he going to bring us back into slavery, right? Listen to this.
With ships.
How we going to do it?
With ships.
How we going to bring us into slavery?
With ships.
Mr. Jerry, how we get over here again? On ships. You see that? We are God's chosen people. We are the Israelites. God said that if we don't keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, He gonna take us back into slavery again on ships. Mr. Jerry, this real. This ain't science fiction. This really happened to our people. And we still feeling the effects of this today. But you know why we can't pull ourselves up by the bootstraps? Because that's what they like to say, right? They like to say, yeah, you good, all you gotta do is, but you wanna know why we can't do it? Because we continue to break God's laws, statutes, and commandments. We talked about it. You said we still killing, right? You say we still stealing, right? Mr. Jerry, we not keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And until we do it, we're going to continue to be in these conditions. You understand what I'm saying? Mr. Jerry, it's important for us to learn God's laws, statutes, and commandments so we can start keeping them. Do you love the Lord? Do you? All right, how do you love the Lord? How do you show that you love the Lord? If you say you do love the Lord, how you show you love the Lord?
Trying to do the right thing these days.
By trying to do the right thing, right? Doing the things that He say do, right? Because you got a son, right? In order for you to classify him to be a good son, that means he got to do what you say, right? Now listen to this.
John chapter 14 and verse 15. If ye love me,
the Lord said, if you love Him like you say you do, you professing that you love the Lord. He said, if you do love me, read,
keep my commandments.
Do what?
Keep my commandments.
The Lord said, if you do love Him, Mr. Jerry, like you saying you do, He said, you're going to keep His commandments, right? Get to 1 John 5 and 3. He said you're going to keep his commandments. That's showing that you love the Lord. Because a lot of people like to just say with their mouth, oh yeah, I love the Lord, I this, I that, I do this and I do that. But they don't act, their actions not lining up with it. In order for you to love the Lord like you say you do, you have to do the things that the Lord say do. You got to keep his commandments. Listen to this.
1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of God.
So he said this right here is the love of God. If you do love the Lord like you say you do, this right here is the love of God. Read.
That we keep his commandments.
That we're going to keep his commandments. Read.
And his commandments are not grievous.
It says his commandments not grievous. What that mean? What does it mean to be grievous? Grievous means hard. So the Lord said his commandments, they not hard. They not hard to keep. They not grievous. So we can keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Would you agree with that? All right. Now, Mr. Jerry, I'm going to ask you some questions. All right. I want to dialogue with you a little bit. All right. So you know we the Israelites, right? You know that. You understand that we went into slavery and we under the conditions we is because we broke God's laws, right? You understand that we still continue in this day to break God's laws, right? And you understand that if we love the Lord like we say we do, we got to keep his commandments. And if we keep his commandments, he'll restore us from out of this condition. He'll bring us back to our rightful place on this earth like we're supposed to be, right? I know you heard stories of us being kings and princes and all of that, right? Now, in order for us to restore ourselves back to where we're supposed to be, we got to start keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.